Look, my Instagram feed is very thoughty. It's just
Same,
I'm
same.
bombarded by ass.
Oh, welcome up to the Alpha Primos podcast where we talk about anything and everything from dysentery to some guy named Gary. Hey, I'm Juan Solo.
And I'm JJ, the man whose name you mustn't touch.
And I'm Paco, the man who loves any, and I mean any, kind of taco.
All right, well, welcome everybody to the first ever episode of the Alpha Primos, where everyone here is an alpha. And especially our listeners, you all are the top G's for listening to us, giving us the
You
time of
believe you're
day.
a top G, you're a top G.
Is that
Yes.
copyrighted? Can we steal that from him?
I mean, the
I
Romanian government has taken everything else. What's us?
Um, I mean, yeah, we'll see. I think we're in the terms of like the totem pole of shit that he's worried about. I like to think we're like the post that gets buried under the dirt, But either way, with
I don't know. I'm a
it,
lazy
every
slob that just plays video games all day. He seems to bitch about me a lot.
Yeah. And I'm
yeah.
extremely overweight. They just completely tear me apart.
Well, at least we've never been in jail, to my knowledge. So
True.
that's something that we can probably brag about, but we'll see about that. But anyway, funny enough that you mentioned video games, Jay, because that's actually going to be one of our first topics of discussion. So, the Super Mario Brothers movie right now is all the rage, and that's that I don't think it's come out everywhere yet. I don't think it's still come out like in Japan yet, but it's already on
Oh
the
man.
fast track.
What?
Hmm?
Shigeru must be pissed. Like I created this this Italian plumber and my country gets it last. The fuck?
That really is kind of
Again,
odd, actually.
Japan always
mhm.
gets it last for some reason. Like even the
Yeah,
Marvel
hmm
movies, they're always there last.
yeah, they're the last market. But let's face it, they're probably going to be the biggest market. I wouldn't be surprised if more people line up to see it over there than they did here. And that's that the movie was really hype here.
It's
Yeah, it
some
was.
sort of Faustian bargain that Shigeru Miyamoto signed when he was like, "Okay, Universal, we can make a theme park," and Universal's like, "All right, we'll make a Mario movie though, and Japan will get it last. You can get the theme park first, but the movies last. That's the
That's
cost."
so true. They did get the theme park first. And
Yeah, but
I wouldn't be surprised if, to some extent, they probably get some of the games first too.
They
well, they
do.
get a lot of stuff that we don't get, so
Mm.
I
There's
assume
that one
so.
game where you can poke people in the butt.
Oh yeah, that one's not here. But
Man, if imagine if that game was here, people would be up in a fucking frenzy. You can do what in the game? It's like, yeah, that's the whole point.
yeah, but look, let's ignore what you can do in the game. What really matters is the friends you make along the way.
That is true. That is true.
There.
I
So
mean, if that game was released here, it would take the heat off the drag queens. So I mean, I see it if they release it here. I think it's a win. See it as a win.
yeah,
Leave the drag
exactly.
queens
Just
alone.
take the W
Yeah, just take the
wherever
win,
you
bro.
can. All right, but while talking about the Mario movie, so clearly it's huge success and it's based on a video game. So now the question to you guys is we're seeing a recent success of video game properties being turned into TV shows, like The Last of Us was a big hit. Now the Mario movie is a big hit and they're all based on video games. So the question is what video game would you want made into either a movie or a TV show?
Hmm.
Well,
Hmm.
the one that I'm thinking of right now is currently, I believe, being developed, or it was being developed, and now they've put a pause on it. But it was Borderlands.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, they
And because I remember,
yeah.
because Kevin Hart was, I remember when they released a bunch of info on it. Kevin Hart was supposed to play. Forgot the soldier's name, the black guy from the first one, but he was slated to play that character. And I can't remember who was supposed to be Claptrap. I think Jack Black was supposed to be Claptrap. I think.
Mhm.
Um, and then
Okay.
like I just stopped hearing anything about it, like at all.
All right. I'm pulling it up here. According to this random post from this website, Pocket Lint, it says that there was a release planned for 2023, but they did screen testings in November of last year, and that prompted them to reshoot it, and so they pushed
Oh,
back the release. Right now, it's still being made by Lionsgate, and it says here that Eli Roth is set to direct it.
okay, okay.
So,
Probably be a little gory, which
right.
would be good. Be
Yeah.
faithful to the game. The game's pretty gory
He,
sometimes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He he's a good choice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he's a good choice.
yeah, I agree. But as far as me personally, I mean, right off the bat, I should say that The Last of Us was always like one of my go tos as far as like getting like either a movie or a show. But now that one actually got made, so now it's like I can I can finally change my answer, you know.
Yeah,
And so if I'm gonna go with the more obscure one, only because in all fairness to The Last of Us, while it was a success, I do think in terms of like adapting from video game to like a TV show, it was a bit easier because the story is like more grounded.
Yeah, and half the work was already done.
Yeah, the
Like they
cutscenes and
just
stuff were
they just had
already
to
there.
enhance what was already there.
Yeah. So that's why I'm going with an older game on the PS2, or it was on PS2 and Xbox and GameCube. It's about a police officer, and the game's called Dead to Rights.
Oh, I
I
remember
remember
that.
that
I
game. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that one's also up there in that it's a pretty easy like property to turn into. I think it would work better as a movie than as a TV show because there is a lot of stuff in the game that you could cut out. It was only there for, gameplay,
Yeah,
But I
What,
do
you don't
think
want
if
to spend 3 episodes with him in prison arm wrestling and learning to box?
yes, exactly. And but yeah, I think just like a 2 hour action drama mystery movie, I think there's material there to not fuck it up. But then again, Max Payne is right there giving me those eyes. Like
that's Mark Wahlberg's fault, though. That's Mark Wahlberg's fault.
I don't blame Mark Wahlberg for that one.
I do.
Yeah, Mila Kunis was also there, and she was kind of worse.
I think they just chose her because they found out she was Ukrainian and she could speak the language. That she speaks Russian and
this
she's fluent in it.
th- this tracks.
I think that's it. Like they were probably like,
I
"Look, you
think
already
you might
speak
be
the
right.
language. Yeah, you
Mhm.
already speak the language. You're pretty,
Well,
and your
that
acting's
70s
not
show
like
had
bad."
just ended, no? Like her
Huh?
star was still kind of on the rise.
Yeah, I do
Yeah, yeah,
think.
she was still on the rise. I think what
Mhm.
really killed it for her was that Jupiter movie with Channing Tatum.
Oh yeah, that one sucked.
Oh
Was it
yeah,
Jupiter Rising or Jupiter
Jupiter
Ascending?
Ascending.
Yeah,
ascending. Yeah.
which I'm not gonna lie, man. I kind of wanted that movie to be cool, like, because I love sci-fi, and I was like, oh man, it's gonna be kind of cool. And then I actually watched it. I was like, man, this isn't really that great. Some bitch. And then the other one that I was really hyped for that I thought was gonna be cool was because his star was on the rise as well. Was Dane DeHaan's that Valerian and 1,000 Planets.
Yeah, I saw that
I really
too.
Mhm.
wanted that one to be good too, and I was like, man, come on,
Yeah,
y'all. Why y'all
Man,
fuck
the
with
big
this set?
reason I had hope for Jupiter Ascending was because it was directed by the Wachowskis,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and so I'm like, hey, it's a new sci-fi. They're breaking away from like the Matrix. This could be really cool. And well, one can dream.
Yeah, but then again, like I think sometimes it really is the actors that they choose. It's like, man, like I had high hopes for you, and you really killed it, or not killed it. What's the word? Like I had high hopes for you because you looked the part. You got to practice a little more. I feel like if
Yeah.
Jupiter Ascending was made now, a couple of years later, with the experience that Channing Tatum has, I feel like it would be better, or it would have been better received. Because at the
Hmm.
time,
Yeah, at
again,
the time he was
it
still kind of
Yeah,
like
he
still
was.
kind of rising.
Hmm.
You could tell that he was chosen for everything because of his looks, because he had the look, and he's working on his acting chops. And like him and like Chris Hemsworth, I always think they're better in comedies because they're fucking hilarious. Like I think but they have great comedic timing. Like I saw the
Yeah.
Ghostbusters, the all female Ghostbusters movie.
mm.
It wasn't as bad as everybody says it is. I mean, it was great, but Chris Hemsworth was fucking hilarious in the movie. I'm sorry, I know it's probably a horrible take, but I thought he was fucking funny.
Well,
All
Jay,
right,
what about you?
so
What game? Yeah.
my obvious answer, and I think it's also being made right now, is Metal Gear. But
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that one's like in production already. Like there's been a script floating around forever. And I
Hmm.
think it's moved past that part and is like actively in production or seeking production. Because the last I heard,
Hmm.
they cast Oscar Isaac, and I was like, "Fuck
Yeah,
yeah!"
I heard that
As
too.
who?
Yeah,
As
Oscar
Snake?
Isaac,
Snake.
that Snake, yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Okay. 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 Okay.
So since that one looks like it's happening, my second place answer, and I don't know if it might have already been adapted elsewhere, but I've been playing a lot of Resident Evil, and there was this other game by Capcom that had monsters in the PS2 era and samurais, and it was
Wait.
Oh,
almost a Resident Evil game. It's called Onimusha.
Onimusha. Yeah.
Onimusha. I want to see an Onimusha
I remember the
series.
name.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I think
it was.
if you look at the box art, you might remember it. Like,
Yeah, you might remember like three because that one also had Jean Reno.
what?
Yeah, Jean Reno was in Onimusha like 3 or Onimusha 4. I forget which one, but he was in one of them.
Huh. Okay.
Like
Didn't
he's
know
on the
that.
Oh
box.
yeah, I remember this. Yeah, I remember seeing it.
Yeah, it was so it was the story of like Resident Evil 4's development is weird and convoluted because no one knew what
Hmm.
the hell the plan was.
Yeah.
And that's how we ended up with Devil May Cry, and that's also how we ended up with Onimusha. Onimusha was
Onimusha.
another one of those like failed Resident Evil 4 experiments.
Hmm. Dang, we got a lot of good stuff out of Resident Evil 4.
I'll tell you another one that I think it was in development at one point, but I think they stopped it. Was it's the one I don't remember the name of it, but it's the bio one where you're underwater and you got the dudes
Oh,
that are
Bioshock?
Bioshock. That is, I wanted to say Bioware, but yeah, Bioshock. I remember it was supposed to be. I think they were developing it to be a TV show.
I think
I
they
think that
still
was
are. I think yeah.
Yeah, I think they're still working on that one.
I
But
think that's
yeah,
supposed to be on Amazon or something.
yeah,
Or
because the Amazon's also doing a God of War uh
well, they're doing Fallout right now
show.
too.
son of a bitch.
Dang,
Did you
yeah,
not? Have you
because
not
Amazon better
seen
not
the?
fuck this shit up.
Well,
yeah,
Amazon, like, what is it, like 6 months ago, I think, or maybe last year, they released
mhm,
a set photo from Fallout.
Mm.
And I don't remember what storyline they're following. I think it's supposed to be something original. Like they're just
I would think so.
Okay.
I think they're doing something original. Like it's kind of like in the games, everything's kind of different. Like because after
Yeah.
playing it, you guys suggesting it to me, Fallout Vegas or New Vegas was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Fallout New
Uh,
Vegas is really good.
Yeah.
so I don't know, but if they had people that worked on the original Fallout like involved in the writing,
Uh huh.
they might be doing the original air quotes Fallout 3
Mm-hmm.
because Fallout 1 and 2 were developed by goddamn Interplay or
Mm-hmm.
Interplay published it and I forgot the name of the actual development studio. But Interplay went out of business. So they
Mm-hmm.
sold off everything while they were working on Fallout 3. Bethesda buys it and decides to go in the 3D direction. Like Fallout 3, the original plan was supposed to be the same as the
Mm-hmm.
same like
Style like
isometric,
over the head. Yeah.
yeah, isometric camera style of game that 1 and 2 are.
Mm-hmm.
So when Bethesda changed it all up, they wrote their own story and everything, and they actually moved it because all the Fallout's take place in California and Nevada
Yeah.
ish,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because that's where they were based. Like that's what this development studio was familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Bethesda being from the East Coast was like, yeah, let's put it in Boston,
Yep.
or let's put it in DC. So if they I don't know if Amazon has any of the original developers or anything, but it'd be cool to see that or like remnants of that original Fallout 3 story in the
Mm-hmm.
show.
Yeah.
Because I know they implemented some of their ideas in New Vegas, like some of the ideas that they had in terms of gameplay and factions went into New Vegas, but the actual story itself didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there's enough material in Fallout to do something original. Because there's a whole bunch of vaults, and the lore is that each vault did their own experiment as far as how to survive, like
Mm-hmm.
the nuclear apocalypse. So each one, like, yeah, has their own origin story, and you name it. So, and only a handful ever really get explained in the games. A lot of them are usually hidden in like files that the player has to go out and actually read
Yeah.
to know about it. So no, yeah, like Fallout's also a solid IP to like do a show out of. Like there
One
is
of
enough there.
one of my favorite things about like just pretty much any video game or even TV show sometimes is really the lore. Like I love the
Hmm.
lore behind a lot of video games. Like the Fallout lore was really great. I spent a lot of my time because like when I first played, I played it I think at J when I went to at JJ's and I was playing Fallout 3. I don't think I made it like 30 feet out of like where I started because I was reading every fucking book and file like that I found because I was like, oh, what is this? This is pretty cool. Because you'd find like a diary or something of some of one of the psychos or
Hmm.
one of the bandits. I was like, what is this? And then I started playing Skyrim. Skyrim has some really cool lore to it.
Yeah.
I like the Halo lore. Halo lore is really cool. See, I'm gonna tell you one thing. I was so disappointed with the Halo TV show. God, I was so
You
disappointed
and the
with that.
rest of America.
Yeah.
Like because I knew I was gonna be disappointed when they interviewed like the showrunner and he basically said he's like I'm gonna do whatever I want, fuck the fans. I was like, man, that's not really a way to start things off, man. You're really asking
It's a
for it. What
bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it works out for him.
like I'm telling you, one of these days, man, one of these like super fans is gonna see you in the streets and is gonna be on site. He's gonna he's gonna pull a Mike Guy or a Rock Lee and walk up and smell like bitch in here, and just start like you ruined Halo. Like, I mean, I kind of was like okay because I read the book, some of the books, so I
Mm.
knew like all the different lores and kind of like the Star Wars movie. When you read the books, you get a little bit more context. I was like, man, just everybody just wants to see Master Chief whooping alien ass. Like that's really the
Not
whole
clapping
point.
it.
Yeah, not
Because doesn't
which
need
is
to
like that episode really threw me off. I was
be.
like, I mean, I know we all had these questions in the back of our mind. There's a Reddit thread, I'm pretty sure, about Master Chief clapping the cheeks, like what it would be like. And then they showed his actual cheeks. It was like a long shot too. I was like, that is totally unnecessary. Because I remember I couldn't help but laugh one day when I was at work because somebody posted like the next day somebody screenshotted that literal scene because the camera pans up on it and like sits there and then it continues going up and somebody just like captioned screen grab the picture and then just put master cheeks and I just couldn't stop laughing for a good hour just because I just thought it was so funny. I was like, god damn it, like god damn it, why whoever you are, wherever you are, you're a genius.
As far as other video game properties that are getting made into stuff, well, I had already mentioned God of War earlier, and um, another one, also by Sony, is Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh
That's
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
he's being
turned
developed.
into a movie, and I think they wanted to do Horizon also.
Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn's another one that they want to
Mm-hmm.
bring down the pipeline.
So yeah,
Or
so I
didn't
guess
they want to
Sony
make
was
like
just signing
Heavenly
off other
Blade?
stuff.
Wasn't it
they
like the Heavenly Blade or whatever? Didn't they make a animated movie out of that?
they did, yeah.
They
I remember
did,
Was
that,
okay.
and it's hard to say if it did good because like even the game didn't do that good.
It looked cool, but I just
Mm.
I never picked it up. Never picked it
It
up.
was
I
a
don't know.
launch title, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly,
yeah.
and so they were trying out like some new ideas, like with the console, and I think that's what like undermined a lot of the potential that it had.
yeah.
Let's take a break from the video games to move on to another topic. It's time to play what will hopefully soon become everybody's favorite game because it's time to play Is It Bullshit? Okay, so the way this is going to work is I will read out a news story, most likely just the headline, and then from there at the end, we will vote on whether it is bullshit or if we're like, no, I agree. you know, see how it goes. But all right. So here's the scenario. Here's the story.
Mm.
So you got a woman, right? She's at the gym,
Yeah.
getting her workout in, doing her gains. And then this guy comes up to her and says, hey, don't wipe down the machine when you're done. Which is odd because normally you want someone to clean the machine, especially after you
Yeah.
finish working out on it and stuff.
Yeah.
She doesn't get it. She's confused, but she agrees. And when she finishes her sets, walks away, and then that's when the guy goes to the machine, but then he bends down onto the seat and just takes a
Yo.
nice whiff.
Yes. Wow.
So
Like in front of everybody?
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
so now the story is that she is now pressing legal charges on the guy. Like she wants to pursue this in court. So
Is she suing the
is
guy or
it
him?
bullshit? She's suing the guy.
Okay.
So is it bullshit?
I, I'm gonna call bullshit because look, my Instagram feed is very thoughty. It's just
Same.
I'm bombarded by ass.
Same.
I can't open that shit in public. That's how bad.
Put my hand
There are
over my
times when
phone.
I forget and I'm like, ah, throw my phone in the river. um, so I've seen like the way some of the sketches, quote unquote, that these girls who have like an OnlyFans put out. They put like these wild sketches where it's like, oh, my boyfriend like forced me to go through TSA with like vibrating panties or something, or like
Mm-hmm.
weird shit like that, where it's
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
bull crap. Like this is fake. Like he didn't make you. You just wanted to make the video, and the video's funny.
yeah.
That's what I think this is. Like this was just one of those sketches, but and it went super viral, and now I mean I'm subscribed to her OnlyFans. Like I'm just saying it worked. Damn it.
Uh, See, at first, I thought, I'm not gonna lie. At first I kind of thought it was real, just
Mm.
because the acting was a little bit better. Like, cause
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
I'm the same way. My Instagram feed is full of nothing but OnlyFans girls and anime cosplayers, and like the occasional car, because I like cars, and that's what my Instagram feed is. And when I saw it, but the way he walked up to it, and I didn't hear, and I don't remember hearing anything in the background. Like usually, you're gonna hear weights slam in the
Yeah,
background, or
yeah,
you're gonna hear
Mm-hmm.
something. It's really kind of quiet, and I was like, well, maybe they're just in a quiet part of the gym, or maybe it's like, I know a lot of these people go work out super late because of their job, their lifestyle. Maybe they just don't want to be around people. I get it, especially when you're like you're in that industry, and if you're making a lot of money, people are gonna recognize you. And just the way when he went up to it, I was like, that feels kind of real. Like,
yeah.
it was like that boy was doing a line of White Lightning. He was like, ah, like, because I've seen other videos
Like,
similar to
sir,
that.
we've all had urges, but we're in
He
public.
acted on it. Because I saw another video similar in the way that the girl was an OnlyFans girl, and
Mm.
she's in the gym, and she walks up to her boyfriend. It doesn't look like it's her boyfriend. She makes it act like it's not her boyfriend. It's just some random guy who's about to hit his PR or whatever it is. I'm sorry, I don't know weightlifting terms, because as you can tell, I don't lift. But he literally walks up to her and gives her like the bowling ball slap on the butt, where he puts his fingers inside her, and then he takes
Mm.
the biggest whip and he hits his chest hard as smelling salts, to like wake up and hit their reps. And I was like, uh, damn, like it's like that meme of like, did was that? I don't know how to feel about this, but you know what? You go for it, man. Like as long as it's consensual, do your thing.
I'm
Well,
waiting for
So I'm gonna call
the
bullshit. I'm gonna call bullshit. I'm gonna call bullshit that it's just one of those that she's just drumming up controversy, more people to her OnlyFans. You know, we'll forget about it after like a week.
Yeah, I don't think the
er,
plan was to like drum up controversy. I think the plan was just to make like a funny sketch and it just so happened to like
mhm.
go viral. But,
Yeah.
and now it's like you can either lean into it and then, get more attention from it, or you can admit that it's fake and everyone moves on.
Yeah,
But
Mhm.
I think that she just decided to like lean into it a little bit.
yeah. Well, especially with the suing the guy. Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
that's really
So,
leaning into it.
all right. So we looks like we're all on the same page. And my whole thing with it was just that, like, assuming it is real, it's like, what charges can you press the guy? Does this count as harassment?
I would say it counts as some form of harassment. Maybe that's the best I could come up with.
Like,
Is
yeah,
some
because that's the
form
only
of
thing I could thought.
harassment.
Because I'm like in the mindset of I can definitely see the gym like banning the person,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Most
but
definitely.
like legally, I'm like I don't know if like you could press charges for this, but that's just playing the devil's advocate, assuming that this story is real. And so I asked the question to the audience whether or not you think this is real. Let us know in the comments, and you got to post it right now because I'm about to reveal the answer in 5 seconds. So you got 4 more seconds left. Write it down. Okay, but yes, with that said, this story is bullshit. I did the legwork. I looked into it, and sure enough, she is an OnlyFans model. And after I finished looking at her uh, socials for research purposes, of course,
Mm.
Yes, I do.
uh,
As a
all the
thorough.
posts relating to this incident have been deleted. You can't find the post where she said that she was going to sue the guy and that it was disgusting behavior, blah blah blah. All of that's been scrubbed clean. However, even the video where because Paco is the one that sent me the clip, it's gone. It got
Yeah,
removed.
it got removed like
However,
almost after I sent it to you guys.
hmm however, you can still find it on TikTok
Uh,
by her, the original post by the girl.
uh-huh.
It's still on there, and yeah, it's safe to conclude when you watch the video, it looks fake, and even people in the comments were agreeing this ain't real. It's funny, but it's it's not true.
So
So
I'm going to tell you guys a story because it's very similar to this. Don't ask
okay.
why I was involved with it. So when I used to be a service tech, which I used when I
Hmm.
used to work on cars, the dealership I worked at the time was a 24-hour dealership. So you had a night crew, a day crew. I was on the day crew, and we worked in teams because we had quite a high bit of volume, and we worked in teams, and it was 3-man teams. The team I was on, I'm not going to name names, but one of the guys, really cool guy, funny, kind of a horn dog, but when you work in a shop, when you work in these kinds of environments, it is very much kind of like what you hear, the boys club kind of thing.
Yeah.
And at the time I was still somewhat of an apprentice. I was still pretty green, so I was only doing like super basic work, just installing parts, doing oil changes, just little stuff. And I remember he pulls up, or before he even pulled up, he's like, "Hey, Paco." He's like, I want you to come with me to this truck. I was like, okay. And I'm thinking he's gonna give me some kind of lesson or like, hey man, I'm gonna teach you how this is how we diagnose this or that. I'm gonna show you the easy way, because that's usually what these guys do if you get a good crew. And we walk up to the truck and it's on the service drive where people pull up. It's there by itself. He opens the front door and this man takes a huge whiff of the seat. And I'm just standing there. I was a little confused at first. I was like, the fuck are you doing?
Dude.
And then he's just like, yeah. And I'm like, the fuck was that? And he's like, oh, did you not see her? No, I didn't talk to her. I'm like, no, you're the one over here talking
You're
to the service writer. And
he missed the
apparently,
point when you asked that.
yeah, I was like, and of course, he tells me, oh, it was this really, really hot blonde girl. And I was like, oh, okay. And he was just like, man, I just had to take a nice whiff. I was like, dude, come on, man. Like, we're at work. Like, what if somebody saw you?
Why
He's
did you
like,
feel the
what are they
need to
gonna
share
do?
that with me?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was just
You
like,
could have sniffed that
you
on
could
your
have
own.
in
so like you
private,
wanted me as a
like
witness?
taken it
Like,
to
wanted
the
me to
grave.
yeah, like you wanted me as a witness to this? Like, I don't understand. And then we
You
hop in the truck, we drive it in, and
he,
you
he
know,
he was offering you a courtesy sniff.
I'm pretty sure that's what he was gonna do, but I was just really weirded out. I was like,
It's
okay.
not like doing a line of coke. It's not like he's like, you, you want a
Yeah,
bump?
it's like, come on,
No, dude, check it. The seat's still warm.
I'm pretty sure the seat was still warm. Like that car
There's
is just
Taco Bell wrappers in the back, bro.
yeah. I'm pretty sure that seat was still warm. I'm not gonna lie. And I was just like, Jesus H Christ, dude. Like I was just, and I'm sitting in the passenger seat when we drive into the shop, like I might need to get a new job. Like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know if I'm cut out for this. Like, it's my humor. I don't know if it's evolved or devolved to that point. But yeah, I've witnessed something like that because that's why at first I thought the video was real because I witnessed something similar.
Oh no,
You
yeah, don't
know,
get me wrong. Like I was pretty convinced that it was bullshit, but I was also not going to be surprised if it ended up being
If it
real.
right, yeah, like
yeah, it ended up being
the
real.
the f- the fact that he did it so blatantly adds more evidence that it probably is real, if
Yeah,
anything.
Like
Um,
based on a true story. It's just
yeah,
that this
yeah,
video is
based on a
faked.
true story.
yeah, the video's fake, but the scenario probably is
Probably,
real.
you know what? I bet you it happens more often than we think.
It just doesn't get
I
It
reported.
mean,
just doesn't get report. I'm
yeah,
pretty sure whoever's
neither of
doing
us
this
go
is
to the
pretty
gym, so
stupid.
yeah, like who's to say? It could be happening right the fuck
Like,
now.
I mean, it's really difficult to go to the gym sometimes here in Eagle Pass, and you know why? Because it gets really packed.
Yeah.
It's really busy, especially around this time at night. And you know, you're trying to get your sets in. I'm trying to lift weights, and when you're in the free weight area, you know, almost everybody's there. Like the whole damn gym is there doing
Hmm.
their weights,
Yeah.
and nobody has. You know, everybody's trying to get a spot in the mirror. And sometimes these dudes or these girls will pull up right in front of me, and I think it's sometimes because they don't notice because they're in their own space. Most of you can see they
Yeah.
have their headphones in, so they're in their own space. They just see an open spot, they get there, and then boom, bend right over in front of you. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna walk away because I don't want to be accused, or you know, I'm just gonna walk away. I'll come back and do finish my set later. I'm gonna go hit the treadmill real quick. I probably should be on the treadmill anyways. But
I
yeah,
need to get on the treadmill and think about baseball.
baseball.
Think really hard about it.
But then you can't think about baseball because it's all you thinking about baseball. It's like
It's all
everything is
phallic.
phallic. It's phallic. Balls, celebrating balls, mounds, double mounds, tight baseball pants. You're like, what is
Mhm.
going
Stupid,
on?
sexy Flanders.
Stupid, sexy fuzzy. It's yeah, no, but like even sometimes going to the gym can be difficult because it's like you're just here to work out. I don't want you to think that like I'm just fucking staring, or something like that. You know, that's one thing I sure as hell don't want to be accused of. Now I do my sets like this. I'm looking up into the fucking ceiling. You know, yeah,
Yeah, I know that was a trend for a while on TikTok where it was a bunch of videos of like women working out and that they were calling out like these guys for like staring at them and stuff. But all the ones that I was seeing was where people were actually defending the guy, saying that like, no, girl, you were in the wrong on that one, like because like one, he wasn't looking at you. You can see in
yeah,
the video that he wasn't looking at you, and it's like two. What do you want him to look at? You're right in front of him, you know.
yeah. Well, yeah, I've seen a bunch of those. I've only seen because it was a trend for a while. I've actually seen a few videos where there are a few videos where yeah, if you watch the whole video, you can see somebody like walking by and then walking by again, and they're just like this sitting there walking by. So there are a few that are like that, but there are more. Unfortunately, I think there are more where they're accusing somebody, and it's like no, that's not what happened. And then once you
Mhm.
get into that, it's really hard to, like you know, not just defend yourself, but I guess prove your innocence. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the one guy that advocates is that Joey Swole dude, I believe is his name. He's the one
Mhm.
that watches all those kinds of videos, and he's the one who calls out. He calls out everybody for what they're
I
doing.
I think it's easy to tell in these situations like who like the people are in the wrong are, because
Yeah,
I think it's fair to say like for the most part people that go to the gym, they're regulars. So
yeah,
people know them, the staff knows them, other people that go and work out, they like they know him. They're like, "Oh yeah, I've seen him, but he keeps to himself." He's like,
yeah,
so I think in a situation like this where it is somebody like calling them out, like that's why they stick up for the person, because they're like, no, I know this guy. He's been coming
yeah,
here for a while. We've never had problems with them and stuff.
yeah.
So
and it's
Yeah.
just all of a sudden you're the one, you're the only one. Like,
Mm-hmm.
come on now.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that sometimes doesn't irk me, but it's just like, can you like move like 2 feet over? Is especially here, whenever I'm trying to use one of the machines, sometimes they're like flexing, like they're checking themselves out in the mirror and they're flexing, and it's like, hey man, can you like move over? Are you done with the machine yet? And they'll sometimes they won't even answer me. They'll just look at me and they'll continue to flex, and I'm just kind of like, you look great, but like, are you done?
Are you
Because
done?
I'm trying to get in this 10 pounder, man. I'm trying to get this 10 pounder here real quick, you know. And they'll just I remember one day when I went in the morning. It was on a Saturday, and I'm going over to the leg machine, and dude, he's just standing there and he's lifting up his shorts all the way to like his crotch, and he's like flexing his quads, and I'm like, damn, this dude is jacked. And he's just standing right next to the machine, and he's doing this, and like I walked over, I was like, hey man, like, are you done with the machine, or are you still using it? And he just looks at me and he's like, continues to flex and pulls his shorts up a little bit more, and I'm like, so is that a yeah or like a no? And then he just like picks up his water bottle and walks away, and I was super confused. I was like, are you trying to intimidate me, or like, do you want like a compliment? Because I mean, hey man, you look great. Like, I'm not lying. I'm not gonna lie, you look great. But like, I'm trying to get like that too. But I need the machine. And sometimes you have to tell these guys they won't clean the machine, and they do that on
Yeah.
Yeah.
purpose. I'm like, come on, man. Like, I don't want your sweat on my sweat. Like, it's already hard enough for me. Like, please just wipe it down.
Be a
Like,
hot OnlyFans model and maybe we'll talk, but like.
yeah, maybe we'll talk. I might lick the seat at this point.
Mm.
Come on, man. Come on. Yeah.
It's like, hey, someone got away with Belle Delphine got away with selling bathwater, so they might be onto something on the selling the seats of a gym machine or
Man, with the amount
something.
of things that get sold on the internet, I'm not surprised that Belle Delphine hasn't sold like her fucking bed sheets at this point. Something like I didn't know selling socks was a thing.
Oh yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, those feet
I didn't know that was a
guys.
thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing. I was like, oh, that's a thing. And they're like, yeah.
Yep.
I was
I
like,
have a set. You want to see?
yeah, sure. Bust them out. Like, yeah. I remember because I remember, and like, see, I didn't know like the foot thing
Or
was a thing either.
shoes. People also buy
Yeah, shoes.
shoes.
Yeah, shoes is another one.
Mhm.
Well, I
I
mean,
like watching all the like
people
every
have
now
to
and
buy
then.
shoes, right? But I mean, like used shoes from like a porn
Yeah.
star.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like because every now and then what'll come across my feed are those dudes that do like the street interviews.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's always something. It's always something wild. Like, oh, what's the worst thing you've done? What's the craziest thing you've done for money? And it's always something random. And I remember I saw a video where these two girls are like they're doing selfies and they're walking down the street, and some guy passes by them on a bike, and you see him in the background stop, turn around, and walk up to her. Her camera's just pointing down, but you can hear him talking, and he's like,
Mm.
"Hey, um, can I give you $20 if I can look at your feet?" And
Oh
she's like,
yeah.
So yeah.
I think I've gotten this one. Yeah.
"Yeah," and she's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, $20." She's like, okay, and he just gives her $20. I was like, and then he's like, you can see him looking at her feet, and then he's like, hey, if I give you like $80, can like I touch them? And she's like, sure. And he's like, doing his thing, and then that's when it got crazy, and he asked, I'll give you some more if I can suck on your toes. I was like, yo, like you're doing this out in public on the street, like, but I'm not. I want to be honest. If that was me, I'd be like, $200. All right, cool, go for it.
Part of me honestly thinks that like there are other people that have taken him up on that offer, which
Oh
is
yeah,
why
there's
he
got to
was
be.
so blatant to like
Yeah,
just ask.
yeah.
Well, there was a homeless guy in San Antonio that had a sign that said, "We'll suck your toes." Maybe they're
Oh, he had
friends.
to have made money. He had
He
to have made money.
Right.
That dude had to have
totally
made
did.
money.
I mean, we asked him, and he said he was the best. We I don't know.
I mean,
We will never know, but we'll never know. But
yeah,
yeah,
He drives a Ferrari now, like, so yeah. I guess he was.
I guess. Who would have
Yeah, no,
thought there was a lot of money in feet? Oh, the Nike did.
yeah, no, there really is. There really is. Uh, there was somebody that I used to know that they did that for a little while, and they bought a car like after a couple of
Yeah.
months. I was like, but when she explained it, she's like, it took a while to get there. She's like, because you got to put yourself out there. She's like, that's the risk you're taking. You got to put yourself out there. And she's like, and so when you put yourself out there, you're not going to make money immediately. It's gonna be a while before you make some money. She's like, but also when you look at some of the feet pictures, it's some pictures are not just the feet. It's like the other half of her is on there, like in her underwear or whatever. And she's like, I
Hmm.
think that's what helps sells it too. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
was like, well, I guess, yeah, I guess you're right. I
Yeah,
wouldn't be looking at the,
I
but
remember years ago there was an episode of Jerry Springer where they had a blind guy and he had a thing for feet, and they had like a model and backstage, like like working out on like the elliptical, like the bike and like
yeah,
treadmill and stuff. So then when she came out, the blind guy laid down on the floor and she's putting her feet on his face and whatnot. And at the end of the show, they have all the guests that they had throughout the episode. They just have them on stage, and then they just let the audience like roast them or whatever.
yeah,
And so they had this lady from an earlier story on there, and they said, "Hey, the blind guy should look at her feet or whatever." And the blind guy agrees to it. And as a joke, when she takes off her shoes or whatever, he's like, "This is a man's foot."
oh,
And so, but like, and so that got me thinking, the whole like sniffing the seat thing. I'm like,
yeah,
that that could be a game. It's like you get a hot chick working out on one machine, and then you get a guy work out on the other, and then you bring in the dude, and he has to sniff both and see if he can tell which one belongs to who.
there is a similar show to that actually.
Oh god damn it.
I forget it's I see it on like TikToks all the time, but the show is basically like it's all completely pitch black, and they walk up to a box and they put their face in it, and then they describe what the smell is. And in one of the episodes, the guy walks up to the box and it's somebody's ass, and he walks into the
Okay, I
box and
know
he
what you're
goes,
talking about.
"Oh,
I
it
know what you're
smells
talking
like
about.
ass," and then goes ding, and he's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's an old show. God, this was years ago. It was on Sci-Fi, and the show is called Total Blackout. It was hosted by Jaleel White.
God, fucking Julius Sonic and Urkel.
Yes. Yep. Exactly. And yeah, that was one of many games. So the gimmick of the show is just, yeah, that you have to do the challenge and the room is pitch black. So they weren't always like sniff tests. Some of them were like
Yeah,
you have to walk from point A to point B. Other ones is they put an object in a box, and just with touch alone you have to, and so that one was one of them where, yeah, they just put different things that they had to smell. And then, yeah, with one of them, it was some guy's butt. And the reaction is really what sells the clip, because he just like, oh, it smells like, and they bleeped it, right? But he's like, oh, it smells like shit. And they're like, correct. The look of horror.
I
And
like you son of a bitch. There, I saw it's some prankster guys. Like they're the kind of prankster guys. It looks like they want to be like Jackass, but they like take it to an extreme because nobody can do it like
okay.
Jackass. Jackass was
No,
that
of course not.
perfect, like that perfect median where it was crazy yet not too crazy. It
Mm-hmm.
worked. Like everybody that's trying to do it after them, it just doesn't work. Like it's either too fucking crazy or it's not crazy enough. They haven't found the sweet spot. Anyways, these guys are those kinds of pranksters where I feel like they take it a little too far sometimes. But anyways, they give one of their buddies, it's something that those trends that you see where they line up a bunch of different beers and they put a straw and you have to figure out what you're drinking.
Yeah.
And so they
Okay, yeah.
line up a bunch of like I think they're like the seltzers, but the very last one is they opened one of those cans of fart spray. The ones that you
Yeah,
spray and
yeah,
they smell really bad. They put a straw in it and it's the last one. So he's taking the sip out of each one and he's like, "Oh, that's White Claw. Oh, that's Truly." And he's going through it and then he's like, "Oh man, you're 4 for 4. Let's see if you can get 5 for 5." And he gets to the last one, which is a fart spray, and he took a oh, it was an immediate throw up. It was like
Oh no.
it was projectile. It was, and he was throwing up for a good while. Like it was like, and I think like hours later they filmed it. He's like, I can still taste it. It's still
Oh
there.
no.
Like
That's
that's
horrible.
just too far, dude. There's
Yeah.
no absolutely. People are catching hands. Like I don't care if we're friends. We are probably not going to be friends after that. That is fucking horrible. Like I feel like there's so many chemicals in there. I feel like it would kill you if you take a sip of that.
Yeah,
I
there's
feel like you would
it's
die.
probably
Thankfully, he
not
threw up.
safe.
Yeah, like that can't be safe in any capacity. I mean, just spraying it, it smells horrible.
Yeah, they're horrible.
It's really bad. It's like just a bad night of Taco Bell and alcohol. It's that bad. So I was just like, yeah, we would if those wouldn't be my friends afterwards. I'm sorry, but we would not be friends.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be family. Hell no. That's just taking it too far. Absolutely not. You could have killed me with this.
Yeah.
I can't believe you.
Agreed. And on that sad note, this is where we have to wrap things up. Thank you everyone for joining us on this first episode. Let us know in the comments what your video game pick would be for a TV show or a movie, and let us know what you thought about that bullshit story we talked about earlier. But with all that said, we are wrapping things up. We'll see you all next time.